Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be tackling the world of startups.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
I love it.
And, specifically, how to, build a really solid business model from scratch.
Okay.
We've got an amazing guide for this.
Okay.
The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank.
Classic.
Yeah, this is,
A must read.
it's like Startup Survival 101.
Absolutely.
And get this right off the bat.
Okay.
This book, it throws out the old business plan and execute model.
I love that.
In fact,
Yeah.
it calls the traditional business plan
Okay.
toxic for startups.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
That's a strong statement.
Yeah.
But I think it makes a lot of sense. Startups aren't just smaller versions of big companies.
Right.
They're very dynamic. They're always evolving.
Right.
And a traditional business plan, it's like trying to navigate a jungle with a street map.
Totally. It just doesn't work.
It's useless.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm starting to see the light here.
Good.
If the traditional business plan is out,
What's the secret sauce?
well, it's all about customer development.
Okay.
This is where you really get out of the building. You talk to your customers as much as possible.
Got it.
It's about testing those initial ideas you have
Okay.
about your customer, about the problem they're facing, and about how your solution is going to make their life better.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it's less about boardrooms and spreadsheets.
Way less.
And more about hitting the streets and having those conversations.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
But what if
Yeah.
my idea about the problem I'm solving is totally wrong?
That's great.
What?
Yeah, that's the whole point of customer development.
Really?
Like you said, you're getting out of the building, you're testing your assumptions.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to be right on the money. Sometimes you'll discover something totally different.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So you're saying it's a good thing to be wrong?
it can be.
Wow.
Because then you're learning,
That's
you're
true.
pivoting.
Okay. I'm starting to see why this book is such a classic.
Yeah.
So how does this actually work in practice, this customer development?
So the book breaks it down into 4 key phases.
Okay.
And it all starts with stating your hypotheses.
Okay.
This is where you put all your assumptions out there.
Got it.
Who your ideal customer is, what their problems are, how you're going to reach them.
Pricing all of that.
Pricing all of that.
So it's like taking all those ideas in your head
Yeah.
and just laying them out on the table.
Putting them out there.
But it's key to remember, at this point, these are just guesses, right?
Totally. They're educated guesses, but you're ready to be proven wrong.
Got it.
Ah.
Okay, so then what's phase 2?
Phase 2 is testing the problem.
Okay.
This is where you actually get out of the building and talk to people.
So how do we do this?
It's about one-on-one conversations, really digging into their experiences.
Interesting.
And the Startup Owner's Manual actually gives you some questions,
Okay.
some magic questions to ask.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, they're called the IPO questions.
Okay, I'm all ears.
All right, so IPO, it stands for
Yeah.
the most important things you need to know.
Got it.
So you ask them, what's the biggest pain in how you work?
Okay.
And if you could wave a magic wand and change anything about what you do, what would it be?
Interesting.
And it's all about listening to those answers,
Okay.
even if they contradict your initial assumptions.
So it's like you're a detective searching for clues.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You've talked to your customers?
Yeah.
You've got a handle on their problem?
Uh-huh.
What's next?
Now it's time to test the solution.
Okay.
This is where you introduce your minimum viable product,
Or MVP.
or MVP. Exactly.
So we're not talking about the final polished product yet.
No, this is a bare bones version, just enough to get feedback.
Interesting.
Yeah, you want to get it in front of your target customer ASAP.
So it's like a sneak peek.
Yeah, like a prototype.
Okay.
Test the waters.
And this is where we get those early adopters involved.
Yes, exactly. This is where you get those early evangelists.
Early Angelus.
I love that term.
It's catchy.
It is catchy.
But who are we talking about here?
Think about the people who line up for days to get the newest iPhone.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not just buying a product, they're investing in a vision.
Right.
They're willing to take a risk on something that's not finished because they believe in it.
I see the value in those people.
Yes,
For sure.
yeah. They're so important.
So they're more than just customers. They're like partners.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if the feedback isn't so great?
That's where phase 4 comes in.
Okay.
Pivot or proceed.
Okay.
This is decision time.
Ooh.
You have to decide, based on the feedback, are we sticking with our plan or are we making a major change?
Big decision.
Big decision, yeah.
So these pivots you talk about,
Yeah,
they can be pretty major.
they can be huge.
Like changing the whole business model even.
Your whole business model sometimes, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's all about being flexible and adapting.
So I'm seeing the magic of this customer development.
Good.
It's about validating those assumptions,
Yeah,
getting that feedback, and being ready to pivot.
absolutely. And this is just the beginning.
All right.
Once you've gone through customer discovery, then you move on to customer validation.
There's more.
There's more.
This is getting good.
It is.
But we'll have to save that for the next installment of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
I will.
It gets even more interesting.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
me too.
Awesome.
And we'll see everybody next time.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive. So last time we were talking all about customer development.
Yeah.
Right?
Getting out of the building, talking to those customers.
Correctly. And why it might be a good thing
Right.
to totally ditch that traditional business plan.
Yeah, throw it away.
But now we're moving on to the next level.
Oh,
Customer validation.
that's right. This is where we really put the entire business model to the test.
The whole thing. The whole thing, it's not just about validating those little pieces. It's about looking at the big picture.
So the stakes are higher now.
The stakes are definitely higher.
Okay. Feeling the pressure already.
I can imagine.
What kind of questions are we trying to answer at this stage?
The big one's can we actually get enough customers?
Okay.
Can we make money doing this?
Right.
And can we actually build a company that can grow?
So it's make or break time, basically.
It kind of is, yeah. It's where those initial hypotheses turn into cold, hard facts.
Got it. So how do we actually go about validating the entire business model?
Well, luckily, the Startup Owner's Manual gives us a really useful tool.
Okay.
It's called the Business Model Canvas.
The business model canvas.
Yeah, think of it like a blueprint for your business.
Okay, I like that.
It's a visual map that lays out all the key elements.
Okay. I'm a visual learner, so I'm intrigued.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the canvas, it makes you think about your value proposition, customer relationships, channels, revenue streams, cost structure, all of that.
So it's really connecting the dots.
It really is. Yeah, seeing how all those pieces fit together.
Okay, so let's zoom in on one of those pieces.
Yeah.
That's this value proposition thing.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
So your value proposition, that's really the heart of your business.
Okay.
It's the answer to the question, why should anyone buy from us?
It's what makes you stand out from the
It's
crowd.
exactly. It's what makes people want to open their wallets.
So how do we craft this amazing value proposition?
The book actually gives us a really helpful checklist.
Okay.
It all starts with identifying the problem you're solving. What keeps your customer up at night?
Right. So we're back to those customer pain points.
We are, but this time we're focusing on how our product actually addresses those needs.
Got it.
So you have to articulate those benefits. How are you better, faster, cheaper than the alternatives?
Okay. And it's all about seeing things through the customer's eyes, right?
Absolutely not your own.
It's harder than it sounds.
It can be. Okay.
So we've nailed our value proposition.
Okay.
What's next?
Now we need to think about those customer relationships.
Okay.
And this is about more than just making a sale.
So it's about building those long-term relationships.
It is, yeah. Building trust, loyalty, turning those one-time buyers into raving fans.
I like it.
Yeah.
So the book gives us a simple framework for this.
It does. It boils it down to 3 words.
Uh-huh.
Get, keep, and grow.
Get, keep,
What's
grow.
that? Okay.
So first you got to get those initial customers, and then you got to keep them coming back for more, and then you want to grow the value of those relationships over time.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's start with get.
Okay.
How do we actually acquire those first customers?
Well, it really depends on your market and your channel.
Right.
But there are tons of tactics, both online and offline.
So for physical products, what are we talking about?
Could be traditional advertising, public relations, trade shows, even partnering with retailers.
Okay. And for online businesses?
Online, you've got all those digital marketing tools.
Like what?
Online advertising, content marketing, social media, SEO, email marketing.
A lot to keep track of. It really is, yeah.
So how do you know where to start?
That's where testing comes in.
Okay.
You have to experiment and see what works best for you.
Trial and error, basically.
Trial and error, measuring your results.
Got it.
Yeah. And then once you have those customers, you don't want to lose them.
Right. That's key.
That's key. Exactly. Customer retention is key.
Okay. So how do we keep those customers happy?
It's all about exceeding their expectations,
Okay.
amazing customer service, creating a seamless experience, maybe even offering loyalty programs
So make them feel
to
special.
make them feel special. Exactly.
Okay. I like it. And then grow.
Grow is all about encouraging those customers to buy more,
Okay.
upgrade to premium services, refer their friends.
Got it.
So maybe offer some incentives, bundle products together, create referral programs.
So happy customers lead to more customers, which leads to more revenue.
Exactly. It's a virtuous cycle.
Okay. So we've covered get, keep, grow.
Yeah.
That's customer relationships.
That's right.
What's next on our business model canvas adventure?
Let's talk about channels.
Channels.
Yeah, this is all about how you actually get your product into the hands of your customers.
So are we talking distribution here?
Distribution, exactly. Do you sell directly or through partners? Online or offline? Retail stores? Online marketplaces?
So many options.
So many options, and it really depends on your customer.
How do you know which channels are right for you?
It comes back to your target customer.
Yeah.
Where do they hang out? How do they prefer to buy?
Makes sense.
You wouldn't try to sell luxury goods at a discount store, right?
You got to make sure your channels align with your brand.
Exactly.
Okay, so once we've figured out our channels,
Yeah.
let's talk money.
Let's do it.
Revenue streams.
Okay, so this is about how your startup actually generates revenue.
So what are some of the options?
There are a lot of different revenue models out there.
Like what?
You've got the classic one-time sale, you've got recurring subscriptions, licensing fees, advertising revenue, even combinations of these.
Okay, so give me some real-world examples.
Okay, so if you're selling a physical product, your revenue stream might be pretty straightforward.
Oh.
You sell a widget for a certain price, and you make a profit on each unit sold.
Okay, makes sense.
But for a software company, you might have a subscription model.
Like Spotify or Netflix.
Exactly. Customers pay a monthly or annual fee.
Oh.
And if you're running a website, advertising could be your main revenue stream.
Like Google or Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the possibilities here.
Good.
So the Startup Owner's Manual helps you figure out which revenue model is right for you.
It does, yeah, and it encourages you to experiment early on.
Makes sense.
Try different things, see what sticks.
But generating revenue is only half the battle, right?
You also have to manage those expenses.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle.
The cost structure.
Cost structure.
It's not enough to make money. You got to keep those costs under control.
So what kind of costs are we talking about?
You've got your fixed costs, things like rent, salaries, utilities. And then you've got your variable costs, things like marketing expenses, the cost of goods sold.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
It is, yeah.
where your revenue is higher than your expenses.
That's the goal.
Profitability.
Profitability, exactly.
Easier said than done, I'm sure.
Definitely. But the business model canvas helps you think it through.
Okay.
And the Startup Owner's Manual, it gives us tons of examples and case studies.
So it's not just theory, it's practical advice.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm really starting to see how powerful this tool can be.
It's a game changer.
But the business model canvas, this is just one piece of the customer validation puzzle.
That's right. There's a lot more to explore.
Like what?
Well, we need to talk about customer development experiments.
Okay.
This is about testing your hypotheses in a structured way.
All right. I'm intrigued.
Good.
Let's dive into those experiments in the next part of our deep dive. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've spent the last two parts really digging into this whole customer development thing and building that business model canvas.
Yeah, getting those key elements in place.
But I have a feeling like the best is yet to come.
You're right about that. Now we get to see how it all works in practice.
Yes, I love a good case study.
Me too.
Because it's one thing to talk about the concepts,
Right?
but seeing them in action, that's what really brings it home.
Totally. And luckily, the Startup Owner's Manual gives us some really great examples.
It does. It actually walks us through some detailed financial scenarios.
Yeah.
So let's jump into one of those.
Okay.
There's this example with a physical product called Easy Gardener.
Oh, yeah, the garden tool.
Yeah, it's designed to make planting easier and more efficient.
Right, like a must-have for any gardener.
Okay, so imagine you're a startup founder.
Okay.
You've got this brilliant Easy Gardener idea.
Uh-huh.
How do you know if this thing is actually going to work?
Well, the book gives us a sample spreadsheet
Okay.
that lays out all the key financial metrics.
Interesting.
It shows how those numbers can really tell a story.
Okay, I love those aha moments.
Yeah, me too.
Walk me through some of the highlights of this Easy Gardener spreadsheet.
Okay, so first of all, it shows how revenue is projected to grow over time.
Okay, so ideally those sales figures are climbing steadily.
Exactly, but it also highlights those costs.
Right.
Developing the product, manufacturing it, marketing, getting it in front of customers.
Because it's not enough to just make sales.
No, you got to make sure that revenue can cover your costs.
And one of the most important numbers in the spreadsheet, I'm guessing, is that cash burn rate.
The burn rate, yeah, it tells you how much cash the company is spending each month.
Every startup's nightmare.
Right, because in the early days, you're typically operating at a loss.
You're investing in growth.
Exactly. And that spreadsheet, it shows how that burn rate changes over time.
So it gives you a sense of when you might actually become profitable.
Exactly. It helps you figure out how long your runway is.
how much time you have before you need more funding.
Exactly, or before you need to become self-sustaining.
So it's like a financial roadmap
It really is.
showing you the path to profitability.
And this example, it really shows how those projections can help you make those tough decisions.
Pivot or proceed.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've seen how it works with the physical product.
Yeah.
But the book also has this example with a web mobile app called Expense Pro.
Oh, yes, the expense reporting app.
So what's different about this one?
Well, this example, it highlights some key differences between selling a physical product and selling a digital download.
Okay, I'm all here.
So with a digital product, the cost of producing each additional unit is basically nothing.
Right, because once you've developed the software,
Exactly. You can sell 1 million copies without incurring those extra costs.
so those margins can be a lot higher with digital products.
It can be, yeah. And the expense per spreadsheet, it really shows how this impacts the revenue model.
Interesting.
And it highlights some different metrics that are really important for web mobile businesses.
Okay, give me those metrics.
So you've got your website, traffic conversion rates, customer acquisition costs, customer lifetime value.
So it's about understanding what drives profitable growth in the digital world.
Absolutely.
So these examples, Easy, Gardener, and Expense Pro,
Yeah,
they give us this framework for really thinking through those financial implications.
they really do.
It's about moving from those vague ideas.
Yeah, those pie-in-the-sky dreams.
It's concrete projections.
Exactly. And the Startup Owner's Manual gives us the tools to do just that.
Okay. But even with the best financial model and the most amazing value proposition,
Uh-huh.
you can't build a successful startup alone.
You absolutely cannot. And the book really emphasizes the importance of building a strong team.
So not just your co-founders,
No, it's more than that.
but also your advisors, your mentors,
Yeah, those people who can provide guidance and support.
especially when things get tough.
Absolutely. Starting a business is a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
You need those people to help you navigate those ups and downs.
So how do you find these amazing advisors?
Well, the book gives us some great advice on that. You want to look for people with experience in your industry expertise in key areas like marketing or finance and a genuine passion for helping startups.
So it's not just about finding people with fancy resumes.
No, it's about finding people who are truly invested in your success.
People you can trust,
People you can trust exactly who will give you honest feedback,
even when it's hard to hear.
even when it's hard to hear.
So that's what's so great about the Startup Owner's Manual.
It's not just theory,
It's practical advice.
it's a roadmap.
Yeah. And if there's one thing to take away from this book,
Yeah.
it's that building a successful startup isn't about having a brilliant idea and then just executing a plan.
It's so much more than that.
It's about embracing uncertainty, testing those assumptions, and constantly learning and adapting.
Exactly. Being agile, being customer-centric.
And this book is the perfect guide to help you do just that.
It is.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Startup Owner's Manual.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. And until next time, keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep building those amazing startups.
And remember, those early evangelists are out there.
Waiting to discover your product.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks again.
My pleasure.